Hey guys, for the first time ever, I'm trying a Facebook Live for my more or less weekly videos. I haven't posted a weekly video, gosh, I think since before Christmas. And I just haven't, because part of the time I haven't felt like I wanted to say anything in particular. Some of the time there have been so many things I could say that I just simply didn't want to choose. And then the flu took care of about 10 days. So I felt finally that I just needed to say hello, to show up, and to reconnect. And maybe along the way, say a little bit about what I've been up to and what I am up to. Throughout 2017, I came to the realization that I really, really care about professional coaching, life coaching, business coaching, executive coaching. And it kind of came to me like a reconciliation with a sort of guilty pleasure. It's like, really? Is that what you care about? And I'm not going to go into why that for me might have been a guilty pleasure, but suffice it to say that I realized I care a great deal about the coaching profession. And one aspect of the profession I care deeply about is the aspect represented by the International Coach Federation, the ICF, and its ethics, its competencies, its credentialing, accreditation, certification processes. I feel both loyalty to that because that's how I came up in the coaching world, and also deepening respect for what ICF has accomplished in formulating standards, practices, definitions, and distinctions in the world of coaching. Now, at the same time, about 70 years ago, I came across the three principles, which is an understanding of how life works from the inside out that is, as far as I can tell, perfectly congruent with all of the great wisdom traditions. So in one sense, you could say there's nothing new. And in fact, the first time I saw some teaching of the three principles, that's kind of what I said. Mind, consciousness, thought, those are the principles. Yeah, I get it. I've seen that. You know, I trained extensively with Byron Katie. I was a certified facilitator of the work. It didn't look new to me. But the people that I had seen who were touched by the principles were profoundly touched. And these were not easy people to touch. These were not lightweights. These were not people who were picking up flavor of the month spirituality. So I kept looking. And I reached my own kind of holy crap, this is amazing place at the juncture of insight into the unbreakability of the human spirit, the essential wholeness, beauty, intelligence, perfection of the human being. And as I say that, I have to say that's not unique to human beings. That's also true of apple trees and worms and all kinds of critters. Human beings are a particularly amazing flavor of that intelligence and wholeness. So the principles in my encounter with them do a particularly good job of encoding and revealing the beauty and potential of human nature, and also pointing at how the human experience works from the inside out. Long story short, because I could talk about that all day, what I came to see was the insights of the three principles revealed to me the source code for the coaching profession. And it's even in the ICF definition of coaching that coaches believe that clients are inherently whole, creative, and resourceful. The difference after encountering the principles and taking a deep dive into them is I no longer see that as a useful frame. It's not that I believe that human beings are whole, creative, and resourceful. It's that, you know what? They are. And coaching from the standpoint of knowing that is profoundly different than coaching from the standpoint of believing in that. One of the beautiful things that ICF has articulated about coaching that is different from most, not all, but most forms of consulting and counseling and advice giving is the notion of partnership. In the ICF world, we are passionate about partnering. And if you're not partnering with your clients, you are not coaching your clients. So when I looked deeply at the principles, I see partnership as profoundly connected to the recognition that every human being is whole, creative, and resourceful. If you really see that every human being is an perfectly designed learning critter, a perfectly designed growing critter, a perfectly designed evolving, awakening system of consciousness, then partnering with that only makes sense. Trying to get in there and tinker with it and fix it and reshape it into something you think that the other guy ought to be just doesn't make sense anymore. So for a number of years, I really felt that there was something like the principles were over here and coaching was over here. And I came to see that, at least for Molly Gordon, no. They live in the same territory. The principles are the profound teachings and insights that explain how life works from the inside out. What we've learned about coaching, about working with people in service of those principles or in light of those principles, is really very well, not fully, but very well articulated in the ICF traditions. So when the penny finally dropped for me after about 7 years of dancing in what I thought were two worlds, I saw that the work I'm most passionate about is connecting those worlds. And I now see coaching as working at the boundary between the formless, infinite potential of life itself and form, bringing things into the world in thought, in action, in tangible shape. And that coaching at its best recognizes, accesses, and moves from the formless into form. I think coaching is curtailed, limited, constrained, unnecessarily small, and ultimately ineffective when it only works on this side of the boundary, when we become preoccupied with and only tinker with what's already come into form, including what we've already thought up, what our clients have already thought up. When coaching takes into account the formless, what I'm pointing to back here, the everything, the infinite, the well, and then supports clients in moving out of that into form, well, that's where I like to rock and roll. That's what excites me. So in the next 3 months, I'm going to be working to bring the explicit understanding of the three principles into the ICF coaching world, and also to be sharing with the three principles world some of the lessons we've learned in coaching about how to have effective encounters and conversations and interactions, because I think we've learned some things and I think they're pretty cool. So that's what's been on my mind. that's what I am up to. I'll doubtless continue to talk about it. And rather than waiting any longer to get ready to say something, I thought I would just start a Facebook Live and say something. So thanks for watching, guys. Forgive, I noticed as I'm looking at this, my eyeballs keep bouncing all over the place. I've got one wonky eye, and the harder I try to look straight at the camera, the screwier I look. So forgive me, I just want to acknowledge that that happens sometimes in my videos. If you've got questions about the 3 principles or about coaching, or especially about where there's potential for the interplay, interface, shoot me an email or a private message or tag me and we'll talk. So take care. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.